Hello and welcome to the Interactive and Immersive HQ. My name is Marco, and in this video we will create some generative artworks using feedback loops. Just to start with, the definition of generative art by Philip Galanta is the following. Generative art refers to any art practice where the artist uses a system, such as a set of natural language rules, a computer program, a machine, or other procedural invention, which is set into motion with some degree of autonomy, contributing to or resulting in a completed work of art. So it's a pretty long definition, and it's also very open, but I mean, generative art is pretty open. It's not really about the end result. It's more about the way to the result, that qualifies something as generative or not. It's not fixed only to computer programs. You could also, there's some artists that fix a bucket with paint on a rope to the ceiling, and they make a hole in a bucket and put a canvas underneath, and then they just start to swing the bucket, and it's making its rounds and spilling the paint while doing it. This is also generative art. But of course, we are using TouchDesigner here, so we will not swing any buckets around. Let me show you first what we have here for a network. So in general, we start here with a simple circle, and then we put on some displacement before we put it in a feedback loop, where we displace it again and blur it and sharpen it a little bit and set the opacity and stuff. And I have all these parameters connected to my keyboard in. So every time I press 1 on my keyboard, some parameters change, and we get a complete different result here. Sometimes also very interesting effects like this here. And this is what we want to build, a system that we have to set up only once, and then every time we start it again, or we reset it, or we just change one little value, we get a complete different result. All right, that being said, let's delete everything. Okay, so first of all, we need an input. This is always with feedback loops. It always needs some kind of input, top input. But of course, you can also render your geometry, which is then also a top again. So I'll just start with a circle here, put the radius down a little bit, and the fill alpha to 0, and border color, because I only want to see the border, set it to white, and increase the border width a little bit. Also go to the common page and change the pixel format to 16-bit fixed. This is important later for our feedback loop, that the feedback also disappears completely. And I just increase the resolution to 1024 by 1024. And then just to make it a little bit more interesting, our input, so I just connect it 4 times to a layout, and we just set it to grid rows, so we have 4 circles instead of 1. And then also, before we feed it into the feedback loop, let's animate this a little bit by just simply displacing it with a noise. So I just connect this here also to the noise and set the output just to noise. That way, this top has the same resolution, so we don't need to change it manually in case we change our input here. So then we just connect it to here. We have to put down our displace weight, something like 0.1. Turn monochrome off here, and let's animate the TZ by abs time dot seconds times 0.1. And yeah, this will now be our input here. Okay, so this is where we start our feedback loop. So maybe I just put a null here and connect it to a feedback and to a composite. Connect this here. And now, well, we almost don't see anything. That's because the operation is set to multiply, but we want it to be over. Okay. And then we just drag and drop it, our composite on the feedback. Let's also add an RGB key and a null already that we can display in the background. Okay, so how does this work now? Well, the composite gets fed back to the feedback with every frame, and now the feedback just stays. Yeah, it doesn't disappear. That's why our screen just fills up here. So let's first add a level. Oops, not a lens distort, a level top here. And set the post opacity down, yeah, to 0.975. Yeah, something like this. And yeah, this looks already a little bit cooler, but that's not what we want. Oh yeah, and before we keep going here, let's just add a keyboard in here and reference this by just activating the viewer to our pulse reset button here of our feedback. That way we can just reset our feedback top. Okay, so what can we do here now? First of all, let's make a little bit more space, and let's maybe start by inserting another displace top here. And again, we need something to displace it with. So we're gonna use a noise again. Monochrome off. Connect it. And decrease the displace weight. Do something pretty small. Maybe 0.003. Will do for now. Of course, here we can set the RGB to noise again and connect our feedback so that we have the same resolution here. Okay, what else can we add here? Yeah, you can literally just really experiment by adding whatever here in the feedback loop. It often gets you unpredictable results. So yeah, I would really just recommend playing around. But let's insert a blur here and see what's happening. Okay. And from the palette, that sometimes gives a very interesting effect just under image filters. So you can open the palette here on the top left, open palette, and under image filters, and then just drag and drop the sharpen in here. And let's see what that is doing. Some more space again. Okay. Doesn't really do much, but let's play with the sharpen amount here. And you see at one point, you kind of get this, I don't know, kind of reaction diffusion style here. So yeah, that's also very interesting to play around with. Yeah, we will randomize this parameter here later. That way we always get a different look. And of course, one of the key components that also make a big difference is when we add a transform. And let's say we just rotate it just a little bit. And then you see our feedback gets rotated with every frame by 1 degree. Yeah, you can also do play around here with the scale. Let's say we just scale it down a little bit. Kind of gives it that 3D-ish look. Or if you scale it up, yeah, looks like this. We can also randomize these parameters here later. We'll just leave it to something like this for now. And let's also, under the tile tab, just extend and mirror. Yeah, that way we will get nicer results later on. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool already, but well, now we have to change everything manually to get a different result. Yeah, would be nice to just press one button and then get a complete different result here. So for that, let's just add after our keyboard in count chop. So every time we press it, you see it's just counting here. And then let's create a noise top here, noise chop, sorry. And we need to go to the channel page and change this here to samples and start and end to 0. That way we get only one value. And let's also set it to random. And now every time you change the seed here, you get a different value. Okay, then also let's connect this noise to a math and just set the range now from -1 to 1. Yeah, that way we get always positive values out of here. And of course, we need to reference the count value here to the seed. And now every time we press the button 1, we get a different a different value here, just a random number. Let's also add a merge here already, because we will make a lot of copies from that here afterwards. A null, and this one we can call randomize. Okay, so let's start by randomizing one value. So maybe let's start with that noise here. So what can we randomize here to get a different result? Yeah, maybe the period would be nice. Oh, this looks like particle stuff. So maybe from a range from 0.1 up to maybe up to 10. So let's set our first math here under the range from 0.1, it's the minimum that we want, up to 10. Oh yeah, and also we can call this channel here and the noise. Let's call this one noise period. Noise period. And yeah, let's reference it. So, and now when we press 1, changes already a little bit every time. You see the displacement, sometimes more strong based on the noise, and sometimes less. Okay, what else can we randomize? Yeah, maybe that displace weight. We shouldn't go too high with that, I think. Maybe from minus 0.2 to plus 0.2. So let's make a copy here of the noise and the math and call this one displace 1. And because we also have another displacement later. And in the math, we said we want a minimum of minus 0.2 and a maximum of plus 0.2. And then we just connect it to our merge. And here we have our displace 1. So let's reference it to the display weight. And you see the displacement that is happening is now also randomized. All right, and maybe we should always, for the noise, that they have a different seed always. We can just, after this reference expression here, just an or plus and some random number. So that way all these noises give out different results, they are based on different seeds. Then we can also reference maybe our noise period already to this one here. And we can also just change the seed here and reference the noise period. And the displacement, let's create another displacement here from the noise. So again, I go to the channel, call this displace 2. And this time I add another random number. And let's say here the displacement is not so strong. So from minus 0.003, or maybe from minus 0.005 to plus 0.005. So go to the math, change the range, minus 0.005 and 0.005. Again, connect it to our merge and reference the values. And then let's also play around with the sharpen here, because as we saw, it can give some pretty cool effects. So it'd be nice to also randomize that. So it seems like one is maybe, but actually why not? Maybe just a little bit less than 1. 0.9 maybe is the maximum. And the minimum 0.2. So let's make some more space here. Again, make a copy. Change the seed here again to something. Call this sharpen. And in the math, we want a minimum of 0.2 and a maximum of let's say 0.95. Add it to the merge. Go back to our sharpen and reference the value here. Yeah, and now also this is randomized, but maybe I think this can be a little bit higher. So maybe the minimum, let's make it 0.5. Yeah. Okay, then now it's always rotating in the same direction. Maybe it would be interesting to also randomize that. And it can be done here in the transform. So we shouldn't go too crazy here. I think maybe 0.5 minus and plus 0.5, or maybe minus and plus 1. Yeah, for the rotation value. So same like before. Rename this to rotation. Add another random number here in between. And add it to our merge. And as you see, just step by step, you just add more and more values that get randomized, yeah, which, in generative art, you have to give control to your system. Yeah, not everything is under control. That's why we are using noise here. It's perfect for that. And the more parameters you change, you randomize, the more interesting results you can get. But we always get only positive values here. Oh yeah, we want to change that to, what did we say? -1 to 1. Maybe a little bit higher. 3. Okay. Maybe that's even too fast. Oh, but also looks interesting. Let's make it from -2 to 2. So it doesn't get too crazy. And we could also, because now it always looks like it's moving backwards. Yeah, that's because we have set our scale value here to something smaller than 1. But if we increase it, yeah, we get a different effect. It looks very smoky right now. So maybe from minimum 0.995 to maximum 1.005. Just make some more space here. Let's actually make 2 values for that. That way, yeah, we get a more interesting effect. So channel, let's call this one TX, and the other one TY. And we have to change the range from 0.995 to 1.005. And the same here. And of course, change the seed here. Okay. Connect this again to our merge. Reference it to our scale values here. Top reference and top reference. Okay. Yeah, and now every time you press 1, you get a different output here. Yeah, which can sometimes be boring, but sometimes also be really interesting. And you can, of course, also change the input here. So let's say we want to use a rectangle here. And oh yeah, well, you could even mix it. Would be nice. Fill alpha 0, border alpha 1, and border width, increase it a little bit, make it white. Maybe let's make it all boxes. Oh yeah, and increase the resolution and set the pixel format to 16-bit fixed. Okay. You can even play with the size here. Maybe also one thing you can randomize. But yeah, like you see, you can really add any input that you want and just play around with it, and you get different results every time.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you like our YouTube content, I highly recommend you check out the Interactive and Immersive HQ Pro. The HQ Pro is the only comprehensive educational resource and community for immersive design, TouchDesigner, and creative tech pros. In the HQ Pro trainings, we cover almost any topic you can think of, and we go way more in depth than we do in our YouTube tutorials. We have a private group where Matthew Reagan, myself, and our other industry veteran and pioneer teachers answer your questions every single day. If that sounds cool, click the link in the description to learn more. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more free TouchDesigner and immersive content.